All right, welcome to our Monday Zoom. It's so fun to see this line so full and see all of my favorite faces. Yay! Thank you guys for plugging in so that we can all feel each other's energy and be a part of this. For those playing the action game, we're kicking off week 2. I was traveling for week 1. I know we were hoping to give some updates, but you're going to have to wait till tomorrow because I know some team members are still trying to get some points from some teams. So one quick housekeeping thing, do try if you're playing the action game to get your points into your team leader by Saturday at noon. The last week that'll change to Friday, but we'll let you know. So this week you're going to put all your points from any activity Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday till midnight on the tracker and turn those into your team leader by Saturday at noon if possible. If you need a little extra time, that's okay. We'll work with it. But the other thing, I know there are some team members who they weren't able to start last week or play, and they didn't turn in points, and that's not going to hurt any team. So just so you know, if you feel like you're on a team and you're like, but wait, we haven't heard from 1 or 2 people ever, how we're doing it is we're going to take all the individuals, and there will be winners for individuals too. So like the top 3 individuals, regardless of what team you're on, are going to be individual winners for the game. But for your teams, we're going to do a team average each week of the scores turned in. So no one is affected if there's someone on the team who wasn't able to play that week or carry out anything. So just so you know, if you're the person who didn't do anything last week, you're not hurting your team. And for those of you who did, you're like, hey, wait a minute. But that's not a hall pass to do nothing. That's just some extra encouragement to step up and do more in the future. So if you need to feel the pressure from your team, we're going to tell you, get to work. But I know for me, it was an awesome week even traveling. And I would love for anyone at the end to share kind of their wins. But I'll tell you my win from my post Friday night on my 10-day shred, the Shred 10 post that I put on Facebook. I have 12 new box orders since Friday night. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So super excited about that. And I'll just say someone's glad I'm not on anyone's team because I'd be racking up the points. But yeah, so it's been really fun. I have 3 more people who want I'm following up with still. So it's exciting. And I do think it's what we've heard for the last several years. When someone does do like a Transform 30 or jumps in, they're going to feel and experience a bigger difference in their health, that I think the retention of those people staying on Juice Plus are going to be valuable too. So definitely let me know. It seems like that is an area right now that I've had a lot of success every time I do a shred, getting some new customers. So if you need more help with that, let me know. And then Christy Vogelsberg is still rocking the Tower Garden. So she's your Tower Garden person. And she right now is doing a lunch and learn at a doctor's office with Leslie Houston. So they're not on. But our focus for this week is back to our mission-driven-model.info. So I'm going to share my screen and go over a couple of things with you guys. We're going to be jumping into that second section of the mission-driven model. And for those just to review from last week, you probably had the getting started checklist. So hopefully everyone was able to kind of go through that getting started checklist and get your points for that, and just primarily help your own business move forward from that too. This week, we're going to focus on the second section, which is building your customer base. And it is a huge, awesome section of resources, if my computer wants to cooperate. I want to click through a couple of these things, and then we'll really focus on what we're going to do for homework for next steps. I know many of you got your organizational notebooks, and don't worry, we are going to get to that too. There will be a lot more on that more next week. But I will say that in my organizational notebook, I do have several of these resources that are in here printed out that I like to keep in a plastic sheet protector in my notebook. So I mentioned it last week, but I'll say again, the 4 tabs kind of in the notebook is kind of, the first one is kind of your monthly plan and events. The second tab is prospects. The third tab is customers, and the fourth tab is distributors. So some of these different sheets that I like to print out, I put in different sections or just keep them up in the very front before all of my tabs, so we can go over that too. Again, this very first click here on Fast Track, this is where those videos are that on the Getting Started checklist, it talks about completing your HLP in the first 72 hours, and it linked to these videos. So hopefully all of you have already watched these videos. If you haven't, then definitely encourage you to take the first 2 are 2 minutes, and then they're like 6 minutes. So it doesn't take long, but I encourage you to familiarize yourself with that material. Sharing on social media, Christy touched on that last week. Those are just a bunch of different tips on how to post on social media. So you can spend a few minutes on that this week if you haven't. Scheduling events. This was also part of the Getting Started checklist when it talked about know what the upcoming events are for your team, or create events if you don't have any. And there are lots of awesome events that you guys can plug into right now. I know Georgianne Ford is doing a Facebook party on pregnancy. There are other Facebook parties. I think I'm going to forget, but I think Melissa Peugeot, Michelle Brunke, several of the team leaders are hosting Facebook parties for their teams, and anyone can plug into those things. We also have the Eat Well, Live Well webinar tonight, and Wednesday night is the What If Wednesday, more of an introduction to our company and our mission that Georgianne and Leslie are doing. So there's lots of great events. But this section in here, you know, there are actual presentations in here that you can download for One Simple Change, the Tower Garden, and the virtual franchise, if you want to save those to a computer to have. There are also all these different in-person event ideas, Zoom event, and Facebook event ideas that are in here. I encourage you, up here at the top is the event planner. And I like to have, no, we don't want to restart now. Okay, I hope that opens. Sorry, guys. My computer's acting like it's going to do something different. We'll try this again. I like to print out several copies of this event planner. And I think you guys can all see this, but it's all really small. I like to have these printed out, like 6 of them. And I just put the month at the top. So like right now I have one that says November, and then I have December, January, February, March. Like I try to work 6 months out. So I have one for each month, and I just write the month at the top. And then I can jot down as I hear about different events. And it's just a great kind of memory jogger on events for me. When I hear, okay, I know I'm going to be speaking in St. Louis in February. I'm going to be speaking in Fayetteville in January. You know, I have those down. But just other bigger doctors, if I know Dr. Sears was just in Chicago, you know, I had him on my October one or whatever it is. Then you kind of know when you're doing your customer care and your check-ins with customers, and they live all over, that you can invite them to different virtual events or live events in their areas. So that is always good. And like I said, you can print out several of them and have one for each month to keep track. Then they also have this verbiage on here that you can print off and have in front of you as sample verbiage to invite to salad in a jar parties or Facebook, you know, the Zoom parties or Facebook things and stuff like that. So these are tips on how to invite to an event. And I like to have this sheet printed off and just in my binder, so I have it handy when I'm needing different verbiage. Having done this for as many years as I have, I know that I don't necessarily need the actual verbiage from these suggestions, but even I like to use the verbiage from here, because then that's what's duplicatable, and that's what other people, as they join our team, will start to see in here. The next part under this customer base section is sharing your story. And this is probably the most important thing that you need to do as a Juice Plus rep, is being comfortable sharing your story. And if you're not comfortable with that yet, I want to encourage you to work with your team leader or Christy or me and really be able to step into your story. So this document helps you kind of create some responses to these 5 questions. And those are the different phrases then that you're going to work into conversation and that you can use. And my story is sometimes the same, generally the premise of it, but it's different depending on how I lead into it. But there are some great sample stories here, and that is definitely something this week that I'd encourage people to focus on too. Sharing by message. This is some more wonderful verbiage suggestions of what you can send when you are texting or Facebook messaging people to start a dialogue. And it may be based around an event you're inviting them to. Events are such a comfortable way to start conversations with people, but it may be just, hey, I just saw this video and I thought of you. Or maybe you want to use the Children's Health Study as a reason to message people. You know, my family's participating in this Children's Health Study. I'm so grateful that my friend Michelle shared it with me, and I told her I wanted to share it with others, you know, help her share it. So it's that whole concept. If you're brand new in this business, we really encourage you to let your team leader, or again, Christy, me, talk to the first 5, 10, 15 people with you. And even if you're not new, if you need to go back to that stage in your business, I encourage you to do that, to let us help you feel comfortable talking to people. And it doesn't have to be that you're selling this now or it's your business. You don't have to, you know, blurt that out up front. It can just be, you know, I can connect you with my friend Leslie or whoever. That's who I get it from. I'm so glad she shared it with me, and make that connection. So there are, between the invitation verbiage and then these message blitzing verbiage, some wonderful suggestions that you can make your own. I mean, it has to be authentically how you would talk, but these are some great starting points, and there's tons of suggestions on here. So that is going to be part of kind of the assignment this week, is coming up with some messages that you're comfortable with sending out to people. The Who tab here is just a memory jogger for you to do a list of names. And we do always encourage, you know, to have that list of names. If you don't know who you're going to be talking to, then that's not very helpful. The product videos, these are all done by topic. And this is, again, something that you can spend some time this week looking through and seeing, okay, what are the videos they have for athletes, or whatever topic you're kind of interested in, or what do you want just as your favorite go-to messages, you know, your videos that you would send out to people. The follow-up. This is, again, exactly what you would need to do and what verbiage to say when you're following up, whether you've sent them a video or if they came to an event. There's follow-up on social media when someone, you know, is liking a post. Here's some verbiage that you can send to them. So again, for me, I try to do a lot electronically, but I really like having these things printed out, and I keep them just in a plastic sheet protector in the front of my notebook so that I have that verbiage for inviting to events, messaging people, and follow up. The fourth document in here that is kind of more verbiage related is this 3-way connect. So those are kind of the 4 things that you may want to print out if you're someone that you're needing suggestions on how to talk to people. Those 4 documents in this section are kind of your key resources. But this is critical, and I can't stress it enough, and it's something that hasn't necessarily duplicated in our teams as well as we really need it to, and it's that making that connection. Again, by starting your dialogue initially with, I'd love to connect you with, you know, Leslie or Michelle or whoever your team leader is, that's who I get Juice Plus from, that will make it more comfortable. This document talks about the value of a connection call. It's so important to let someone else amen what you're telling someone, whether it's about the product or the business. And this document goes through exactly how you can invite to the call, what you do prior to the call, what your responsibilities are on the call, and then what whoever your team leader or Christy or I, whoever the mentor is, what they're going to be doing on the call. And typically these are for prospects to join our mission. I mean, that's the biggest reason moving forward in your business, why you would schedule a connection call. Again, initially, you want to get people on the phone as prospective customers with your team leader and let them help you kind of close the sale and answer questions. And then moving forward, these three-way connection calls are something you will do in this business forever, because you always want to let them meet a bigger part of our team. So these tips on here are exactly how you can set up a call and how you manage the call and manage the expectations. So it's super, super helpful. And this is going to be one of the homework assignments this week, is to actually schedule a connection call with your team leader. No, I don't mean your Action Game team leader. I mean your sponsor in the business, or Christy or me. And it doesn't have to take place this week, but we would love for you to have someone, a prospective team member. They can be a current customer or maybe not yet, that you would like to introduce to Christy or me or your sponsor. And that's something that we're, for homework this week, we really want to get people comfortable with getting that scheduled. And then there's the order form in the online store. So that's the gist of this section in here on building your customer base. And then they do have these resources at the bottom. There's a points chart. So if you're wondering, how many points is a trio capsule, or how many points is this or that, I also have this sheet printed out in a sheet protector in my binder at the front. I love the simplicity at the top. It's the 4 steps when you're doing this. You want to finish your healthy living plan, do your 2000 plus, qualify your business, fast track to sales coordinator. So it has that as a reminder again at the top, and what the benefit of each of those things, is. And then it has all the different products and the points. When you are doing all those first promotions, this first blue column are the promotional points. And from 12:30 to 1 today, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the points. So feel free to stay on if you want. Our sales coordinator and above time, we're going to be talking a little bit more about this sheet as well as this 2000 plus tracker. The 2000 plus tracker is a resource for new distributors who are tracking their points to their 2000, and the point values are on here, and it's an Excel sheet that is all calculated. So they can keep track. They can jot down, like today I had Sarah McDaniel, she ordered a trio capsule, and you can calculate everything, and it will tally it for you, so you can keep track. So that's something that if you're interested in using that for more, we will be going over that a little bit more. Let's see if I can, not my shred group. Sorry, my computer went away from me. But we'll be covering that a little more. If that's an area that you want to stay on and join us, you can after we finish this call. And then the DMO we have gone over before. The Thursday Zooms, those are events that I haven't even referenced yet for this week, but every Thursday night, 2 Thursdays a month, there are Zoom webinars that are about health and that type of education. It says here, the first and third Thursdays, it's Inspiring Healthy Living Zoom. And then the second and fourth Thursdays are about our virtual franchise. So you can log in here to this inspiringhealthyliving.tv to register, and that's how you can watch them, and you can invite guests to join you for that. So those are another great resource. The Healthy Living Revolution website is not up and running yet. Same with Shred 10. So these things, I think they have the Instagram page still. No, they've taken the link. So they're updating these things. I think this, now it's giving me, oh, they just have the video here now. So that's the video for the Healthy Living Revolution. They did get that added to that now. So again, those are just some resources. There's tons of information in this section. Just to spell it out clearly for everyone, your homework this week, you can spend as much time in here as you want, getting comfortable with this. The product videos, I encourage you to watch those and check that out. And, familiarize yourself with those. But the actual, homework is, first of all, scheduling a 3-way connection call with Christy or me or your team sponsor. The second part of the homework is to share a video. So we want everyone to find their go-to video and use the messaging that's either suggested on here or work on your own and actually share a video with a prospect. So that you can get in that habit. Once you do it once, you could send messages like that 10, 15, 20 a day. So those are kind of the two nuts and bolts of the homework, is to schedule a connection call. Again, it doesn't have to be scheduled for this week, but actually, just get it on the schedule, and then share a video via message. And if you're wondering about who to set up 3-way connection calls with, I would encourage anyone who, for some of you, you've had local events recently. And so that would be a good group to do that with. The other thing would be anyone who's maybe on the webinar tonight, or if you have other events coming up, anyone who's maybe been to an event or done that, those would be good people to actually schedule the 3-way connection calls with. So I am going to open it up for questions first, and then if any of the team leaders want to share any wins from the last week. So I can try to unmute everyone. We'll see what it does. If it's too... Okay. Maybe too loud. So does anyone have any questions? Okay, I muted everyone because I know not everyone knows that we unmuted.
Okay, I was gonna just mention, I can't remember if you did, that DMO sheet that was talked about in the Voxer group, that's found on the bottom of the page that you were just showing us down there with all those resources.
And they actually did.
The 7-day one is fabulous.
Yeah, like that.
It changed. Yeah, so it's kind of fun because they updated that. Sorry, I'll have to go back. I closed out on my internet. They updated it and they put Saturday, Sunday on it. So that's super fun that they have that on there now too. So yeah, I could have clicked on that so you can see the new DMO sheet. And that's another really big message that I should make clear with everyone too, is the systems are the same, that you are going to go to missiondrivenmodel.info, but the tools are always improving and changing. So that's a benefit to all the awesome leaders in our company who are constantly improving upon things. But this is what the DMO planner looks like now on here. And it still has the 2 new people, the follow-up, the customers, but instead of having, they're recommending 2, but you could talk to as many people as you wanted. And instead of having the lines in the boxes, it's just a bigger box, which I also liked. And that you're reaching out to 2 team members, and then you have your events, your 3-way calls, social media, checkboxer, and your personal growth. So that's all on here, and then you can have notes on the back. So they did put all 7 days of the week for those who maybe want to keep track and work on different days. So yes, if you want to reference that, I'm glad you mentioned that, Lexi. Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, before we do our wins and wows and anyone hops off, I want to take a picture. So if you have your camera off and you want to turn it on and be in our picture, I'd love to see your faces.
Are you able to see everyone, or just like 9 at a time like I do?
No, I got everyone. Oh, that's another thing. If you're newer to Zoom, up in the top right, there is something called speaker view or gallery view. So if you put it on, and like I'm in gallery view right now, so what it says at the top to me is speaker view. So then if I put it on, if I click speaker view, then I see, like right now I'm seeing Michelle really big. You guys are probably seeing me because I'm talking. And then you have other people across the top. But gallery view shows, I see everyone's smiles. So yeah, all right, I'll give you a heads up. All righty, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait, let me do it again because I realized my big hand's in the way. Ready?
I love Darlene.
Me too. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Yay! All our Zoom friends. Okay, so no questions. No one has questions? You guys are such good students.
When we do a connection call, do we get the points when we schedule it or when we actually have it? Like if we schedule it this week, we'd get the points for the
Homework.
You'd get the points for the homework and the connection with somebody, the messaging with the prospect.
Yeah. So for scheduling it, yeah, you would get the points up where, because you clearly talked to, messaged some, you know, you interacted with someone. So you'd get those interaction points and you'd get the points for your homework. And then if the call took place this week, you'd get points in that category too.
Good. The call is up. Okay. Great.
Or if the actual connection call doesn't take place till next week, then the 3-way points would come in then. Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you, Julie. There's no questions because you're such a great teacher.
Oh yeah.
Can I throw out there real quick? So Melissa had the idea of doing a text splits
From like 1 to 2. So we were just going to stay on this line, if that's okay, after our SC to SSC. So if there's anybody that wants to hop back on and participate in that, they can.
And Michelle and Melissa, they can tell you more about that. But it's kind of that one sheet I showed you that said messaging blitz. A lot of people will actually schedule a time to do blitz calls or messages. So it just depends what you're wanting to do. And there are other opportunities like that throughout. If you've been to the Buster Genie or dinner, I forget if it's Kathy McCommon or I'm going to forget Becky Ennis, I think, hosts one every week. So we can definitely schedule some things like that too. They're great, just accountability. So you hop on at the beginning, and then if you're physically making voice calls, you can mute out or drop off and make your calls, and then you can come back on at the end. Or if you're just messaging, then you can all stay on and smile at each other. So, yep. So you can hop back on here at 1 o'clock. Any other questions? No? Okie dokie. Well, for anyone who wants to stay on and talk about numbers and points, you're welcome. And if that overwhelms you and you want to just change lives and talk to people, feel free to drop off right now. You do not have to learn about numbers and points. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so for those who are staying on, how many of you guys, which I won't be able to see you all when I'm sharing my screen, I just see a few of you. How many of you used the 2000 plus tracker when you were starting in the business, or how many of you are using it with your team now? You'll have to unmute and talk to me.
If I had a team and would try it, I'd be glad to, but.
Or they could raise their hand and then we could all see.
Yes, yes.
I think I've used that when we've had like an action game or something with Nyla's team specifically using that, but not just in general.
Yeah. And it is
I
helpful.
used it, and even before there was this lovely Excel sheet, we did something like this and kept track of it. So I probably have all that old stuff too.
Yeah.
I've been trying to throw old organizational notebooks away and start over again, but yeah, it's very helpful, and I love this Excel sheet. Awesome.
Yeah, it is good. And I think So one thing as a team leader or when you're sponsoring someone, you can definitely show them where this is on missiondrivenmodel.info so that they can access it. But the other thing that you could do is you could start filling it out for them and save it, you know, as their name, like I didn't do for Darlene, but I could have. So like as she got her new orders, then, you know, saved it Darlene's 2000 plus tracker and emailed it to her so she'd have it to continue filling in. So it just depends, you know, if you're working with someone who's savvy and does it on their own. But and there are a couple different versions of this. Like there are some versions I have seen that had this cumulative promotion PVC, but then also had the performance volume kind of broken down.
Mm-hmm.
This is the simple one that is truly for new reps, just totaling up their 2,000 points. So you can, you know, write in here the person's, no, it's not wanting me. Oh, I got to click up there. You know, you can write in like today, you know, Sarah McDaniel, 11.7. She ordered the trio, and that's, you know, you can see over here what a trio capsule is, 169.5. So when you enter that in, then it calculates the total and stuff for you. So it looks a little weird because it's calculating all of those, but it supposedly adds up right. You know, like she did the complete then too. So, you know, the total is accurate. It just totals it all for some reason. So this is a tool that if you guys want to use right now and you want to track, you know, like we've said last week, Christy shared, Leslie Houston will give herself that challenge where she's like, okay, I'm going to personally do a 2,000 plus. And I know my mom had asked me, then does she get points on that, on the tracker for completing a 2,000 plus? And I said, no, because she's already an SSC, but she just mentally gives herself that challenge of, I'm going to do a 2,000 plus. So if you guys want to personally track how much new volume you add during this game and stuff, you could use this to do that. And then, not to confuse anyone, but just to go over it, because I think the more you hear of these numbers, the more it starts to make sense. So I did want to, on this points chart, the points chart does talk about the monthly installment paid points. And I've had some people ask questions lately about what does it mean to be in bonus, and how does all that work, and what is the 25 and the 40 customers and blah, blah, blah. There are some great video trainings by Don Rathman that you guys can access, and we can send to you too, of some different numbers things. But just so that you know, on here, every product has its promotional point volume, okay? The PVC, the purchase volume credit is what that stands for. And these are the promotional points. So Trio capsules is 169.5, and then the Orchard Garden capsules is 106.5. When you order a, you know, put in a customer order, that full volume, whether it's under you personally or anyone on your team, that full volume goes into your promotional volume, which is how all promotions are based until you get to sales coordinator. So from dealer to DD, DD to VF, and VF to sales coordinator, it's all based on promotional volume. And so whenever that box ships, that full volume goes into that column on your PVC report, okay? Now, as far as how you get paid, there's a couple of things. The retail sales profit for every product, which is over here in this column right here, the retail sales profit, as a congratulations for a new order, the company pays you that retail sales profit that month on that order. When it ships again in the future, then this is paid as the company gets paid. So if someone's on monthly installments, the very first month their order ships, you get $39 in your check. But in 4 months when it reships, then you get almost $10, like $9.50 a month for each month for 4 months. Because the company's getting paid on monthly installments, they'll pay you on monthly installments, okay? The retail sales profit plus commission is what these columns show. So this shows on a trio order of capsules, you earn $49.17 instead of $39. And at 14% as a VF, you're earning $62.73. And as a sales coordinator above, you're earning $76.29. Now, how you actually get paid on that is a little bit different. The commissions are always paid based on how the company gets paid. So like right now, I have 4 new trio orders, and they're all monthly installments. So I am going to get 39 times 4, almost $160 this month as a congratulations for those orders. I am also at 22% commission. So the difference of the 76 and 39, which is like $37-ish, that is going to be divided by 4 because the company is getting paid on monthly installments. My commission will get paid on monthly installments. So, they'll be, I'm not good at math, ladies, help me, what, 37 divided by 4? $9, yeah. So I had 4 trio orders, so 9 times 4, so I'll make another $36 in commission each month for the next 4 months. Now the shake mix that people ordered, I encourage them to pay in full so that it's paid for, and when they need more, they can get more. So on the shakes down here, I'm gonna get 16 times 4, but really as a sales coordinator, and because they're paying in full, I'm gonna get this full $31.51 times these 4 orders in my check this month, okay? So I know some of this may totally be confusing you or may not make sense, but the more you hear it, hopefully the more it will make sense as far as like how you get paid and how you track the numbers on things too. So commission is always paid as the company gets paid. If someone pays in full, you get it all that month. If you're on monthly installments, then you get that portion of it throughout the 4 months. Any questions on that so far? No? Okay. Now back to the point status of it. Remember, promotional volume is when it ships, you get the full promotional PVC. As far as when we talk about having a qualified business or being in bonus, or best of all, being customer qualified, it is based on performance volume. And performance volume is the portion of the points that the company got paid for that month. And your performance volume, it's column 4 on your PVC report, and we can pull that up too, but I just want to show you with points. It goes by how the company is getting paid. So if someone is a customer that they ordered on, just say August 5th, on August 5th, the 169.5 points went into your promotional volume, but they're on monthly installments. So performance volume, you got 42.38 points in August, on August 5th. And then at the end of the month, the points zero out on performance volume. And starting September 1st, you had 0, but on September 5th, you got another 42.38 on that one order. And then the same thing in October and November. So performance volume is the portion of the points that the company got paid on. You get the points that month on the day that it bills. So that's why on your virtual office, when you're watching some of those key performance indicators or on your PVC report that they email to you several times throughout the month, you're going to see column 4 grow throughout the month because you're having more dates billing for those orders throughout the month. And it's just when that monthly installment processes, you get the points for that on that day. So ideally, if you've been around a long time, you used to hear that you need 40 customers to be in bonus. Well, it was 40 Orchard Garden, because years ago when I started, they didn't have Vineyard. And 40 times 26 would have put you over 1,000, okay? That's what you want. In column 4, at the end of the month, if you have 1,000 points across from your name, then you are in bonus and you have a qualified business. So the 26 points times 40 equaled 1,000. Well, the great thing now, you only need 25 trio orders to equal 1,000. So that is what you sometimes hear, 25 orders. But what Don Rathman challenges, and there's a fabulous call, it's called the 654, and it's talking about the PVC report and how to maximize your income. And I'll post that call for you guys again so that you can listen to it if you're a numbers person and you want to understand it. But if you have 40 trio orders, then your own customer volume each month is going to be over 1,600 points. And your paychecks will be residually $750 as a sales coordinator. It's closer to 600 as a VF. But that's residually every month just off your own customer base, not counting anything from your team and other bonuses or commissions or anything like that. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, you really would have to have a lot of money invested to get that kind of return. And so that's the type of paycheck experience that we want to help all of our team members get. And that's why we want to strive for that. You know, we say 25 to 40 because at 25, they do have a qualified business. But at 40 trio customers, then you know your income just off your own customer base every month residually is $750. So that's where that comes in. Are there any questions about that? No? Okay. So the goal would be that column 6 on your report would be over 1,000. That means you're customer qualified. Column 6 on your PVC report, I can see about pulling mine up. I know it may be easier to have looked at someone else's that isn't. Does anyone want to share their PVC report by any chance? Mine's just longer than a page. Anyone? No? You don't have to. I should have gotten a dummy one made up. I wasn't planning to get this much into it, but you guys are also attentive.
If I could find it quickly, I just know if I can.
Okay, yeah.
This is probably longer than a page too, isn't it, Mel?
Well, yeah, but the top of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can find it.
You're fine. Yeah. We can use anyone as an example to show some things. I'll have you share your screen. We can talk through. But are there any questions about that or any of those numbers? That all makes sense to you guys? And again, if you're not a numbers person, do not let this just distract you from going out talking to people and changing lives. But if you want to understand like how you get paid and how, and you know, that's the fun thing too. If you look at like that sheet that showed the retail sales profit and then what you earn as a dealer, you know, as a direct distributor, a VF and a sales coordinator. If you're wondering, okay, like my family needs an extra $400 this month for whatever, you can look at it and say, okay, I mean, essentially as a sales coordinator, even if someone's on a monthly installment, you're earning $50 that first month, pretty much, because just under, it's $39 and then like another $9. So whatever, $48. So you could say, okay, I need to add 8 orders this month to increase my check at least $400. I mean, you can really break it down. Or for instance, like a pay in full complete. If you're a sales coordinator and if you're going to get them to pay in full for it, then okay, so we had a flat tire and I had to get new tires and I'm out and I need $200 this month. Well, look at that sheet and say, okay, so I just need to get 9 complete orders or whatever it is that you're needing. Because that's truly how you're getting paid, and that's how you can impact increasing your paycheck. Okay, so Melissa, if you found it, there should be a little icon at the bottom that says share screen, and this goes for all of you when you're doing Zoom. Anyone should be able to share screen at any time. So Melissa, you can hit share screen, and this is great, you guys, to do Zooms with your new team, because they can even share their screen. Like if they're like, I don't understand these numbers on my virtual office. If you're on Zoom with a team member, you can have them share their screen. And I'm going to go, my phone, I don't have an answering machine. I refuse to get more messages anywhere. It's going to ring until I answer.
Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That came off of your virtual office?
It did, yeah.
Is it just my screen, or is there a big gray box on everybody's screen? Oh, there it goes. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it just disappeared.
Okay, so you went to your virtual office, and then what?
And then I went to this KPI,
Okay.
and then my business and team at a glance. And then I scrolled down. I did previous month end of PVC report.
Okay.
Yay, thanks, Melissa.
Yeah, although
Good job.
now I can't see it. There we go.
It's coming back. Okay, so you'll notice across from Melissa's name is her phone number and then her title as sales coordinator. The title date, October of 2006, so that's when she made sales coordinator. Column 1 is the promotional volume, and you'll see that she has nothing in there because once you get to sales coordinator, all of your promotions are based on performance volume, not promotional volume. So you notice underneath that, like her team member Patty, her promotional volume, so cumulative from the day she started with the company, every time a box shipped anywhere in her organization, the points went into that, and she's now at 10,863. I am going to tell you to ignore columns 2 and 3 on here because they're confusing and they're not based on like all the fast track opportunities and things like that. So I'm going to tell you to ignore those. Section 4 on here is the PBQ and POBQ. And so you see here Melissa's numbers. I mean, she's well over 1,000 across from her name. And then my little video boxes are hiding some of your report. Got to move you guys over. Column 6, you see she has 42 orders, and right next to that, the 1393, she has 42 orders accounting for that 1393 of points. So that's awesome because she is customer qualified as well. Now, the one thing for those of you who are newer that you may not know, column 4 is your customers as well as any dealers and direct distributors on your team. Their volume goes into that also. Once they get to a VF, their volume does not go into your performance volume. It's like the company's giving you an extra bonus for working with new team. So you get those extra points there too. That's okay. Now, the one thing you can tell over to the right on her customer base, the 42 customers for 1393, that means like if she had 40 trio orders, I think she'd have 1,600. So what, I need to do the math again to remind myself. Yeah, so 40 trio orders would actually be 1,680. So what it tells us that she has 42 customers with 1,393 is she probably has a lot of Orchard Garden users or like complete orders or bars or things like that, which is great that she's upsold some different products. But it also means that there's probably a lot of people in there who could be either adding other products like the vineyard if they're not, or that you know, they have multiple orders. And that does happen, you know, because for instance, like the new orders that I just got, the Children's Health Study orders have to go in as a separate order from then the complete order and stuff. So you end up with more preferred customer numbers than actual people. Does that make sense? Kind of. And then if you don't mind, Melissa, scrolling down to the very bottom of your report. Okay, so that number at the bottom, the 5,704, first of all, whoop, whoop, she's, that's awesome, because that actually, when that number hits 5,000 is when you can have a business partner with corporate too. There's different ways to get in different tiers. They have like tier 1 and tier 2, but that's awesome. She's business partner qualified too. But yeah, they have different requirements now to have business partners also. Like you have to have so many legs and bonus and some different things, but volume wise, but that 5,704, that is the number when you are a sales coordinator working toward SSC or Q or NMD. It is this total at the bottom of column 4 that all of your promotions are based on. Okay, so that is where to fast track to SSC, you know, you want that number to be at least 8,000 or 4,000 more than your average. So like Melissa, if you have been at 5,700 the last 3 months, then your average, you're going to need to hit 9,704 for your fast track to SSC.
Okay.
But, you know, for someone that their average of the last 3 months is closer to 4,000, then they just have to hit that 8,000. Or for a brand new distributor who's trying to fast track to SSC in 12 months, they just need that to hit 8,000 down there. And like for NMD, that's what you need to hit 33,000. Okay, so it's all the performance volume from your whole team that totals to I just realized we were still recording. It totally overwhelm some people, but for our leaders who can, you know, that's all good. I'll make sure I tell people drop off after 30 minutes. Sorry, but that's where you want 33,000 to hit NMD. So for every new distributor, like for instance, I'm going to say that Katie Williamson, column 1, she has 535 promotional volume points. You know, that is the column that they're going on for promotions until they get to sales coordinator. But sales coordinator and above, it's that bottom of column 4 on your report. So, any questions about that? What? I'm sorry? No, I thought someone said something. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I wasn't muted. My phone Voxer, I had it open on the table and it started playing. Sorry.
That's okay. No problem. Okay, so I know that's a lot of numbers. And there are fabulous, very eloquently done recordings by Don Rothman that explain all this way better than me. But I just think the more I heard it as I was growing up in this business, the more it started to sink in and make a little more sense. So, I mean, your initial goal is to help customers get 1,000 points in column 4, and then personally have over 1,000 points in column 6. And the ultimate numbers are to hit 1,600 in column 6 and 3,200 in column 4. And then for those of you who are on now too, your promote out, your POBQ, you want that to try to be a minimum of 3,000. But ultimately they say, like, you know, double it. So that's the rock star numbers. But how many of you on here have heard that the 645 call?
I think I have. I'm pretty sure I have.
I have. I should probably re-listen to it again, right? Just to
I mean,
see.
it's just, that's how you're going to maximize your income, is
Yeah.
The numbers are so overwhelming. It, to me, sometimes I'm like, it's so easy when you just go do the business instead of trying to keep track of it, because I can get bogged down keeping track of it.
yeah, and then you don't want to. Like, you have to know, so that's good. I mean, Esther, and know that there are people that hit NMD that do not know how to read a PVC report. Like, you do not have to know how to do that, and that's why we have a team, and there are people who love the numbers. So if you recruit someone who loves numbers, plug them in with someone else.
Yay, that's what I'm looking for. And I'll let you talk to them and let them listen to Don Rathman, because it's awesome to have so many people who have so many talents available.
Honestly, reading these reports does not change lives, period. Like, I don't want anyone worried about that. But for people who are wondering, like, how do I get paid? And what does it mean to be in bonus or different things like that? It's kind of good to show them, like, that 1 point tracker and say, okay, you know, if you're just a distributor, you're making $39, but I want to help you get a sales coordinator where you're making 76. And then, you know, if they're wondering why their check isn't growing up or how they need to get their check to a certain point, you can truly back it out and say, okay, you need this many new customer orders to get to that point, you know?
I think that's encouraging. There's been times when I've just felt like, oh, I don't want to do, I've done a lot of coaching with Nyla, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do another coaching call with her, because it's just, I know I need more distributors and I need more customers.
Yeah.
So I don't really need someone to tell me that. But then when she actually breaks it down, like you said, to what you need, you just need 4 orders this month and next month, and you'll reach this goal or whatever.
Yeah.
And that is encouraging. So sometimes the numbers can be very encouraging.
Yes.
I
And
think
there are great coaching documents that I think our team should start using more often. There are some for VF to sales coordinator, and then there are some for sales coordinator and above. And if you want to, I mean, really, that's not something you really need to look at every month. But, you know, if it's even 6 weeks, you know, or if you do want to look at it every month, schedule that call with, like, if it was Angie, I would want Georgianne on the phone too. So the 3 of us, and we could look at that coaching guide, and it really does break down even more specifically your business and your numbers, but it's like a 2-page coaching document. But I would encourage, you know, even if you did it once a quarter, just as a track, because then, Lexi, it's like you said, you know what you need to do. And if that hasn't happened yet, you don't have to keep looking at the same thing going, okay, I can only get so much milk from these cows. I need to be adding new team.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is good. And the more you do go through that, the more you will understand some of the numbers and stuff. So feel free to sign up for, you know, a coaching call, and you can decide, is it a coaching call for like just basic next steps, or do you want to go through your report coaching call? And we can do that. So those are on Wendy Campbell's website. and you don't have to have them. I mean, I could email it to you before we do a call, but on Wendy Campbell's website, she has the coaching documents for the different levels in the business, and those are kind of good to look at too. So, but don't let any of this distract you. Those of you as team leaders who, next week, I do encourage definitely get that 3-way connection call scheduled, whether it's with a prospective distributor or maybe you have a distributor on your team that hasn't met your sponsor yet or met me or Christy. That would be another great connection call to get scheduled, just to maybe check in and see how they're doing, or, maybe see if it's a good time for them to restart if they've been around for a while. But that would be an option for all of you as leaders. You guys all have some people on your team that we could do calls with too. And I'm assuming all of you have shared a video before. I hope all of you have. So maybe that could be an exercise that you duplicate out to your team. If you have some team and you can get points, for those of you playing the action game, you could get points for connecting with your distributor and teaching them how to share a message. Even if they're not playing this game, you can help reach out to your team and give them kind of the same homework that we're giving everyone who is playing the game. This week it's my goal to help everyone learn how to share a message and, show them that messaging blitz document with all that awesome verbiage and help them craft a message that feels good for them. So, okay, I know it's 1:03. I'm going to stop the recording.